Well, today I plan on making something a little simpler of some branches off of a tree. Well, what you're looking at right here is certainly not going to be the simple one because that's about 28 inches across. But I do have a crotch piece picked out from that tree that will be small and much easier to do. Anyways, let's get going on this. Should be fairly simple crotch piece from an English walnut tree. So I have a piece of English walnut, and it's not very big. It's a 5-inch branch here, but it's also a crotch piece, so I think this is going to be fun. And sometimes it's really hard to decide which direction you want to turn them. This one naturally sort of comes up this way, so that's one reason I chose the direction I did. The other is this branch. It kind of peaks up here. I'd like to try to keep that up on top. And another reason, but that's not the main reason, is there's a crack across here, and I should be turning up out of that crack. I drilled a flat spot in here, and I got a hole for a worm screw. So let's get it mounted up and see what we can make out of it. I've got it all mounted up and ready to turn. Here's the branch that I was talking about that has a peak up on here. But even a better reason is this branch. This branch is leaning that direction. And you can see by putting this little straight edge that I have here that I have over 1.5 inches of a slope. That's how much it's leaning towards there. If I mounted it the other way, this would pretty much get cut away. So now I'm just going to bring the live center up to there and get it indexed in place. And we'll see what kind of RPM we can get. 780, and it's actually running pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to start with a 5/8 bowl gouge, and we'll just start cutting it away and heading up to the top. So I'm just trying to get rid of this flat spot here. Once that's gone, these will be gone as well. And we have reached the top on this one, and of course the others. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get a little better shape on that. Wow, that really cut a lot nicer. So I'm going to mark for a tenon right here. And looking at that, that will be plenty strong there. Might be a little bark left on it. So now that I have a tenon cut on here, I'm taking another look at these sides. I think I want to make them steeper and make the base a little smaller. So let's go ahead and cut some of that away, and I still have an option of stopping early. I think I'll just go over it with a negative rake scraper and get everything blended in. Okay, I think it's ready to sand, so let me get set up and we'll do that. I'll start the sanding with 80 grit and work my way up through 400. And it's not going to be real exciting, but I'll show you some of this. And I'll be sanding in reverse at around 400 RPM. I'm going to start my dust collector now, and I'll see you when it's all done sanded and probably flipped around. I have it all flipped around. I don't think it'll be too bad, but I do have this high point here that's quite a bit higher than where it dips down there, but I don't think it'll be too bad. So I'm going to start just to get that outside edge established at 725 RPM with a freshly sharpened and reground half-inch bowl gouge. I put a lot more of a swept back on it. Better see where I'm at here. I still got enough. Switch to a different gouge. This one's more like a fingernail grind. I think I got that. A couple grooves in the bottom. I think I'll use my negative rake scraper. Well, I'm ready to sand now, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit difficult. where the two branches came together, it left a nice feather, but right here it's real soft, and it also left a lot of tear out. Plus, there's numerous wormholes or bug holes in here, and they always make it a little harder to sand. I'm going to go ahead and start with 80 grit on a 2-inch disc. I'll sand this area without spinning the lathe, then I'll do the rest. I'll work my way up through 400, and when I come back we'll put a finish on it. Okay, it's all sanded up and I'm ready for finish. I'm going to use the Howard Feed and Wax. And one reason I'm using that is it's just full of bug holes. And this will give it a nice finish without being over shiny. And this thing has too many defects in it to try to get some sort of a glossy finish on it. I'm going to get some of this on a rag. And then I'm just going to wipe it in. I actually haven't used this for quite some time. I've been looking for a piece to use it on, and this is a good one. It's usually really thick, but it's pretty runny right now. That bottle is almost empty, and I've had it for a couple years. Well, I think that's a perfect finish for this piece. So I'm going to get a little acid brush and push it down into these wormholes. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and blow the majority of that out of there. Okay, I'll let this sit a while, I'll buff it out, and I'll come back and we'll remove the tenon. Okay, it's time to remove the tenon. I've got this little block in my chuck, and I'll put some of the padded material over it. Looks pretty good to me. Okay, I'm going to start with a 1/2-inch bowl gouge. And we'll cut most of it away. Okay, I'm going to switch to this 3/8 spindle detail gouge. You can see that wormhole, it just showed up, but it was going to happen. So now we'll cut a little more away. What's going on? All right. Kind of bouncy there. I don't know. That wormhole is making the tool bounce, so just do it like this. Okay, there's the wormhole. My tool was bouncing on that, and I just couldn't trust it to cut that nub off while it was spinning. I'll get this sanded up and get some finish on it, and I'll be right back. Alright, it's all done. And it was definitely a simple little turning, but I still think it's pretty. It's got a nice shape to it. It's got a lot of wormholes in it, I can tell you that. But when you hold it like this, it kind of looks like a heart, and it kind of looks like a butterfly there. And over here, it looks like a drip boat, the front end right there going down the river. Maybe so. It does to me. I finished it with Howard feed and wax because of all the wormholes. And I just wanted to use a more natural finish because it's full of natural wormholes. I didn't like the way the bark was because it was all white and scaly, so I used a Sharpie on it to give it a little more contrast. I think it has a real nice shape. Here's that drip boat again. So the reason at the beginning I said I need to do something simple is because I've been fighting with moving things around out in my shop, and I finally just did it. And over on that side right there I had a workbench. They really couldn't have very good access to working on it because there's cabinets above it. So I moved it over this side of my table saw and put my joiner over here. Well, now I need to move a dust collector pipe over to the joiner, which shouldn't be hard. I just have to do it. And I moved the table saw this way because I had extra room. I got a cord right here now that's in my way that goes to the table saw. So I got a little bit of work to do on that. Possibly next week. I have a very beautiful piece of wood I want to turn. It'll be a simpler turning, but if I have time to finish one that I'm working on right now, it's right here as a matter of fact, I'll do that. It's pretty complex looking. But either way, it'll be one of the two. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, do me a favor and click that like button. And while you're there, it would be great if you could share the video around. Those two things will really help my channel grow. Leave a comment. I read them all and I do my best to answer them all. Thanks to all my subscribers. And if you're not, please consider doing so. I do a mix of all types of turnings. Some are simple and some are complex, so let me know your favorite. Thanks again, and until the next time, see you later.